Hey there, this is Patrick Kabak, and welcome to this episode. Today, we're going to talk about the Asperger's approach. And this video, this episode, and really the whole program on my channel is for women over 50 years old. And the women in their 60s, women in their 70s, all the better. Okay. But we've done over 700 assessments. And our original assessment was called "Is Your Husband Autistic?" And through those assessments, through over 100 research interviews with women, in additional to that, 25 research interviews with therapists, we really kind of honed this down to where it's the Asperger's approach. And what I was looking to do is to help other men, other couples in my situation. My wife and I have been married going on, oh my gosh, we got in 2020 it was 17, so we're going on 22 years this year in the fall, and just wanted to, what is this? What is this? And then all of a sudden, or what that we're dealing with. And a lot of women that I've talked to don't know, well, autism, maybe there's some aspects there. And one of the things that I really, the more I dove into, initially kind of, okay, reluctantly, I've got autistic traits, but just grinded me that I have autism. And and okay, Asperger's is in the family. But one of the things that my research, the more I interview people, the more the solution is different. Okay. And this is a bad example, but I compare it to food poisoning and the flu. There's a lot of similar characteristics, similar traits, but your approach and how you deal with it is different. Okay. And to my wives that I talk to who are in their 70s, and he'll never change, he'll never admit that he's got Asperger's. Oh, yes, he will. Okay. And there's an approach to it. One of the things is I'm adding a ton of content to the Asperger's app. And oh my gosh, I'm so excited. That is going to be it's got a ton of information now, but it is going to be the source of Asperger's everything that you need to know right in the palm of your hand. But one of the things is that I've had some success with is talking with women about is watching programs that feature an Asperger's lead character or actor. Now, there's some of the movies that are kind of obvious. Movie just came out, Accountant 2, and the Accountant 1 was back in 2016. And that is, I think, leans a little bit too much on the stereotype of how he talks. He talks really robotically, Ben Affleck in the movie. But overall, you know, it's a good kind of depiction of it. One of the things that I talk to, big difference with Asperger's and setting it apart or putting in its own category from autism is a man's occupation. I mean, it's something that it's the traditional occupations that in most cases somebody's functioning with that occupation, they really don't know it. And there's a scene in the Accountant 1 where he's in this room and he's kind of explaining to the what's later becomes his love interest kind of in the movie that he solved this problem. And he solved this problem. He's got it's this glass kind of conference area, and he's got all this scribbling all over the windows and all these calculations and figures. And he's like, and I got it. And if you separate that part of the movie out, it's probably one of the biggest parts of the movie. He's totally normal. He's talking fine. He's interacting with her fine. All the other parts of the movie, he's slow, robotic. But this one, I don't know what it is, a 2-minute scene or something. Just notice that if you watch it. It's Accountant 1 that came out in 2016. Accountant 2, which is out Thursday, which we won't be there Thursday, but we will be there Friday. We'll be there at opening weekend for it. So the Asperger's approach is just you start studying for wives Asperger's. Okay. Listen to Tony Atwood on I'm loading up some Tony Atwood material. Dr. Tony Atwood, he's got a YouTube channel, and listen to his when did they stop referring to Asperger's? I guess in about 2013. took it out of the DSM, and then maybe a few years after that. But he really gives a lot of information on Asperger's, and all of a sudden he changes, and he's part of therapy world, so he has to. But there's people like me who are just who have a history of business and who discovered they were Asperger's and just is like, oh my gosh, this is what I love to do. And for 6 years, I taught middle school students how to produce online news channels, how to produce their own podcasts. I've always loved video. In my community, I owned a newspaper, 2007, where we started transitioning from a newspaper to kind of being online and shooting video, and I love it. I have a background in commercial natural gas sales and just love the innovativeness of new industries. And one of the things about this Asperger app is the thing that it combines. And I'm so glad that Asperger's is kind of looked at the way it's looked at, because it really leaves a lane to where is kind of empty, because you're not going to go to a therapist and talk very long about Asperger's without them saying all the reasons why we shouldn't use it, although it does have definitely a distinctive profile. So the Asperger's approach, one is an assessment, and it's that we have it's part of the Asperger's app, but you can just go there directly. You don't have to download the app or anything. You can just go right to that page. Gives you a great report. It's assessment.aspergersapp.com right there. And you'll go right to the site. You'll get a nice, if I do say so myself, a little PDF report that's got 5 different categories to it. And it's got the first 4 categories are pretty much a general autism test. And then we've got a 5th category now. That's the classic Asperger's. And for all our 700 or so over the last year plus of women that have taken, wives that have taken that assessment, I always would, follow up and ask them about Asperger's. And I always say, now we're kind of looking into Asperger's here, and ask them some more questions about that, because, and now we've just worked it into the assessment. So you're on your own. You don't need any help from me. It's all there to you can just do this on your own. And that's step number 1. So do the assessment and you'll know. And number 2 is then acceptance. Okay. And the Asperger's approach to your husband accepting this is a master plan. Okay. Never use the word autism. Okay. Never accuse him of being autistic. There's a way. Read books. We've got over 30 profiles right now, profiles of Asperger's on the app. We're probably getting, I'd like to go up to 100, and then also at least recommend, I think we have about a dozen movies in there right now. But get up to where there's maybe even 40 or 50 movies that you can just start watching movies. Don't even say anything to your husband, where the characters have Asperger traits. A Beautiful Mind is one of them, to where there's definitely Asperger traits there. One of the lines of the movie of Russell Crowe, and I just saw this in the trailer the other day, is his desire. I have to do something memorable. I have to do something, or my life is meaning, something along those lines. And it's just something that one of the characteristics of Asperger's in a man's career is it defines him. Very proud. I have to do this. I have to do this. And you're focused on something and you're interested in it, and blah, blah, blah. So first, the Asperger's approach: assessment, acceptance, which the app has a whole plan for that. You also get IT support with this, so don't be intimidated by that. It's powered by AI, but you also get an Asperger specialist. And right now it's in its beta testing format, so we're kind of handpicking people that that we can kind of incorporate this with. So if you'd like to take advantage of the Asperger's app, you kind of would have a say so right now in how it's being formed, how it's being developed. We've got very talented 3 computer geniuses that are kind of putting it all together and custom designing it for what we need. And then the other thing is affection and intimacy. Every single woman I talk to, every single wife feels emotionally starved. And the ones that say, oh, I talked to a lady not too long ago, and she said, it's kind of gotten a little better over the years. Probably hasn't. It's probably just she's made adjustments on her part. She now does more on her own. Her kids are grown. Her kids fill those emotional needs that a wife needs. But my wife would have said that she felt emotionally starved, you know, 3 or 4 years ago, and she does not feel emotionally starved anymore. That's kind of like the third part of this is when your husband can implement the strategies of the app and I talk to another thing wives all the time and they say not all the things they want. And I said, I could tell your husband the same thing and he would probably think it's a great idea if I said it. But if you say it, it's nagging. So it's one of those things where I love being um, an Asperger specialist, being able to help people in these areas because you are never too old. I am telling you, if you're in your 60s and 70s, my goodness, I'm 59 years old. I got 30 more years left, I think, 30 more good years. Why not absolutely have your marriage just have a rebirth and start over? So if you're over 50, and I really don't know why this program is attractive in this app, and the assessment is for over 50. It just is. So if you have any questions on that, let me know. It's assessment.aspergersapp.com. And if you'd like to contact us, there's information on the assessment that if you want to follow up or you want to ask any more questions, feel free. That's up to you. So hope that helps. And never, ever give up on your marriage. Never give up on your husband. If you're on the verge of divorce, there is hope. Trust me. Things can turn around quickly. I am living proof of that. Hope to talk to you soon.